Hey, it's Sunday, time for a special episode of Action Figure Adventures here on SEO Toy Review. Today, Baby Skeletor and I are taking a look at Arya Stark. This Game of Thrones figure is made by McFarlane Toys and is based on the current and final season of Game of Thrones. The back of her package features cross-sell art for Jon Snow, Daenerys Targaryen, the Night King, Arya, and a figure of Icy Viserion. Here we've got Arya out of the package, and it's time to take a closer look at this action figure. A man does not talk about Game of Thrones without giving a spoiler warning. So my experience with McFarlane Toys has been their older figures. Probably the most recent McFarlane Toys that I've really played with much were like the Kill Bill figures and the Reservoir Dog figures, which were beautifully sculpted, had interchangeable hands, but no real articulation beyond that. They're very pre-posed. So I was wondering what these Game of Thrones figures were going to be like, and I'm very impressed so far, having only looked at Arya and having barely played with her. She's pretty much straight out of the package at this point. But again, the sculpt work is great. The paint work is awesome. I mean, she's beautiful looking. They did a really nice job. So she has articulation at the head. Her hair is definitely made out of a rubbery plastic, so it does move out of the way a little bit. Not a lot, but a little bit to get it over the shoulders. Her outfit is also made out of a rubbery material, so there's a little bit of flex in here with the shoulder joints. She has ball joints at the shoulders. They ratchet up. They move around. The tunic does get in the way of the articulation some, but it's not too bad. She has elbow joints that swivel and bend, and then she's got wrist swivels, and it kind of looks like there's a rocker. Yes, there is a rocker in that wrist. Both of her hands are sculpted so they can hold accessories. And she has the same articulation on both sides there. She has a swivel at the waist, not a crunch or anything like that. And then as we move down below, her coat or skirt piece here is made out of flexible material, but it does not have a slit in it. So that's going to hinder her hip articulation considerably. She does have articulation in the hips, but it definitely gets hindered by that skirt piece. There does not seem to be any rotations at the hip, but she does have a single jointed knee, which is also a swivel point. She has no articulation at the top of the boot there, but she does have a little bit of a rocker and a pivot at the ankles. So decent articulation for sure. You're not going to get this girl to sit down anywhere because that waist piece is just too stiff for that. But Arya is a girl of action, so I don't really see her needing to take a seat too much. Let's now take a look at some of the included accessories. She comes with a figure stand with a single peg on it and the Game of Thrones logo. She comes with her sword needle and the Valyrian steel dagger she gets from Bran that was originally used to try to murder Bran. So here's Arya geared up with her accessories. Both items fit in her hands very easily, which is great. She does not have any holsters, which I think is very unfortunate. It would be nice if she could put both of these weapons into sheaths or little loops or something on her belts as she wears them in the show. I think this figure is gorgeous, and I really, really hope McFarlane continues with this line. I have the Night King. He will be reviewed on this channel very soon. I am still waiting for Daenerys and Jon Snow to come. I did order them, though. I'm debating about the Viserion figure. It's more of a statue, and it's out of scale to these figures. So while he looks cool, I'm not quite as excited about him because I am much more of an action figure fan than a statue fan. This is not the first line of highly detailed action figures Game of Thrones fans have gotten of the characters, but the previous series of figures made by Funko and Gentle Giants, called the Legacy Collection, are older and from the first couple seasons of the show, whereas so far the McFarlane figures are based on the ending of the series. I want to compare these two Arya Stark figures, the McFarlane figure versus the Funko figure. These are from very different points in the storyline, so Arya has grown up. She has been trained considerably. She's basically a new person. But I thought it was neat to see the scale works very well between these two different versions of the character. There's a similar facial feature there, a similar body build. Even the sword Needle looks very similar, although just like Arya has grown up, Needle has grown as well. The sword with the McFarlane figure is a little bit longer than the figure that came with the Legacy Collection. I'm not sure if they're designed to be the exact same scale, so that could be a difference in that alone. And maybe neither one of them got actual prop measurements and they're just sculpting it based on, you know, what visually looks good with the action figures. I'm not really sure. But I did want to do this comparison and kind of show this off. I would have loved to have seen Arya come with a bow and arrow with the dragon glass tips, or the dragon glass daggers that she was throwing in episode 2 of season 8. But this is a decent amount of accessories. I have no idea if she'll use any of the dragon glass items in the later episodes of the season, so for now, these are good, and it was very spoiler-free for her to come with just Needle and the Valyrian Steel Dagger, because we knew she had them both. This figure is beautiful. I really, really like it, and I am hoping the rest of the line is just as awesome. I guess my only other nitpick would be that if she could actually sit, but with this kind of a costume, it's almost impossible on an action figure, so I'm very, very pleased. Thanks for watching this Action Figure Adventures video. Do Baby Skeletor a favor, hit that like and subscribe button.